In the annals of history, few names resonate with the sound of both immense power and colossal failure, quite like that of Xerxes I. This is the story of the man who commanded an empire that stretched from India to Libya, who held the fate of nations in his hands, yet whose ambition led him to the shores of a defeat that would echo through the ages. In 486 BC, Xerxes ascended to the throne of the Achaemenid Empire, the largest the world had ever seen. He was the heir to his father, Darius the Great, inheriting not just a vast territory, but also a burning ambition and an unsettled score with the city-states of Greece. His first years as the King of Kings were dedicated to securing this legacy. With ruthless efficiency, he marched his armies to crush simmering rebellions in the far-flung provinces of Egypt and Babylon. By asserting his absolute authority, Xerxes solidified his grip on power, ensuring the empire's resources were his to command. With his domestic affairs in order, his gaze turned westward, towards the unfinished business his father had left behind. Driven by a mix of filial duty and personal pride, Xerxes resolved to succeed where Darius had failed. He would not just punish the Greeks, he would subjugate them entirely. For 4 years, the empire mobilized for war on an unprecedented scale. From every corner of his domain, soldiers were conscripted and supplies were gathered, forming an army of staggering proportions. His engineers performed a feat of legendary ambition, lashing together a massive bridge of boats across the treacherous Hellespont Strait, allowing his land forces to walk from Asia into Europe. As this seemingly endless river of men and steel poured into Greece, it looked as though the fate of the Hellenic world was sealed. The gods themselves seemed to tremble before the might of the Persian king. The initial stages of the invasion met Xerxes' expectations. At the narrow pass of Thermopylae, a small force of Spartans and their allies mounted a heroic but ultimately doomed defense. Though the cost was high, the Persians broke through, clearing the path to the heart of Greece. Was Xerxes marched triumphantly into an abandoned Athens, and in an act of symbolic vengeance for an earlier Athenian raid, he ordered the city and its sacred Acropolis to be burned to the ground. Watching the flames consume the city, Xerxes must have believed his victory was complete, but his confidence morphed into hubris. Lured into the narrow straits of Salamis by the cunning Athenian general Themistocles, Xerxes' massive fleet became a liability. In the close quarters, the smaller, more maneuverable Greek triremes outfought and decimated his navy as the king watched in horror from a nearby shore. The defeat at Salamis was a devastating blow from which the campaign could not recover. With his naval superiority shattered and his supply lines vulnerable, Xerxes was forced into a humiliating retreat, leaving a portion of his army behind to be decisively defeated the following year. He returned to Persia a changed man, his aura of invincibility broken. Though he shifted his focus inward, commissioning magnificent construction projects in Persepolis and Susa that showcased the empire's wealth, the shadow of his Greek failure loomed large. The immense resources squandered on the failed invasion strained the imperial treasury and planted seeds of dissent. While the Achaemenid Empire would endure for another century and a half, the disastrous expedition of Xerxes I marked a critical turning point. The beginning of a long, slow decline for a power that once seemed destined to conquer the world.